Well, on a beautiful Saturday, I get to work with Janae. This is the first time Farrell has stepped away and let us do a show together.
I know. I'm so glad he was busy.
Oh my gosh. We're at the Cafe Grand Prix, and it's out about 40th West, just off 21st South, in an industrial area, and they're doing a grand opening and decided to do a car show at the same time, and I've learned a lot already. How about you?
It's been so fascinating. These are the nicest people. You should totally come out and check this place out.
Well, it is. It's a great, and half the money, or a big portion of the money, the proceeds, everyone's a volunteer out here, goes to continue to tell the story of Italians here in Utah as well as some other groups. And it's fascinating. During World War II, a number of Italian prisoners came over to Utah, and as Ginger just said, they had it pretty good. They had the country club.
Yeah, she said it was just like staying in a country, well, kind of like prison today. You know, all those things that you hear.
So we're having a fascinating time. And plus, a little later in the show, I don't like to brag a lot, but I am an impossibly great opera singer. I really have the chops.
I've heard that.
So I'm going to get a chance to sing a little opera. Unfortunately, when I sing it, it comes out very high. I don't have a deep macho voice when I sing, but we'll get a chance to hear me sing, so I think that's worth it. And rumor has it you're going to do some opera.
Oh, so I'll probably sound a lot like you.
Probably will, a little high, but we'll have some fun. We're going to see some great, and we're also here for some great cars. And behind you, I grew up in a Chrysler family, so any Mopar, anything there is all good. So we'll get a chance to look at the Chryslers and then everything else.
Okay, sounds like a good idea.
Stay tuned. Crowd surfing coming up next. Get your name, please.
Terry Mackey.
Now, Terry, you've got a machine over here that is cool on every level possible. Let's talk about it. How long have you had it, and how many thousands of hours of work do you have in it, Terry?
10 years of work to get it to this point, so I've had it for 23 years.
I'd like to introduce you to Judah. He has the biggest heart of anyone I know.
Oh, God bless you. Thank you.
Is this
so
a
much.
medical condition, Judah? I mean, do we have to take you to the hospital? Or is it metaphorically a big heart?
It's a big heart we have a whole world that needs a lot of help and a lot of love.
Well, to use a very fancy expression, that ain't no lie.
You ought to know about the Falcon. It's 66. I can't get parts for it. 1 year body style. They made a lot of Futuras, but they only made 20,289 of the Sport Coupe.
It's a 64 Chevy.
And when it comes to drivetrain now, how modern is it?
It's got a 383 stroker, and it's got the TH 350 transmission and a 9-inch rear end, I think. But then everything's polished and everything was based from ground up.
So tell me about what you do.
Well, our parent organization is Change Destiny, and what we're trying to do is to help people help themselves. Many nonprofits, charitable organizations, they're looking for handouts. And the old adage of give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Our organization teaches people the careers that will prosper them. So instead of them just feeding themselves, they're feeding the entire village.
They made the Falcon from 1960 to 1970, and this was the odd year. And so I put the bigger motor in it and the bigger tires and put the new top back on and painted the original color, which is metallic sky blue. And I doubt there's 200 of them left in the U.S., to be honest with you, on the Sport Coupes.
It is so beautiful.
What quarter mile time?
Oh, I haven't done that yet.
Well, gosh. Wait.
I got 500 miles on the engine so far. So.
That's it. Well, we've got a street. I don't think there's a cop for miles. Do you want me to go lay out a quarter mile and we'll get some, we'll make these tires not as pristine as they were when you pulled in?
I'm sure it would. I'm thinking about 1,000 miles I'll be doing that.
Okay. But no drifting.
No drifting.
Okay, good. Let's go under the hood and see what we've got.
We've had hundreds of thousands of people come out of poverty into prosperity. And so what we're trying to do here in Utah as well as overseas, we've been in 20 different countries, is to rescue children out of prostitution and to rescue people out of poverty.
Wow. You know, that's one of those callings that you know that you will be working as hard as you possibly can every day the rest of your life. That's ambitious.
I've been doing it for 20 years, and every day more gets revealed of how we can do it.
What's your favorite thing about it?
I like the color. When I put that big motor in, I put it on a dyno, and they said it'd do 140, but I know it won't do that because at 112 it comes off the highway. There's not an ounce of aerodynamics in these cars. No safety features like you have today.
Wow. Bill, get some close-ups in there because that is as pristine and as clean as you're ever going to get. Why don't you walk our viewers through this, will you, Terry?
So it's a 383 stroker. It's got the Be-Cooled radiator. Everything's been painted.
What's original in here?
Nothing. the body.
This year we just walked into doing tiny homes, and the city of Ogden had some resistance to it at first, and as they started to see the vision for it, we're seeing more and more people who are going, we want to have a tiny home community. We hope to have a Village of Hope, which is just a whole bunch, 122 tiny homes living together, teaching people how to prosper.
I almost gave up on it, and I thought, well, since it's an odd one, maybe people would like to see it, you know, just the one-year style on it. I like to drive it. It's comfortable. No power steering, no power brakes, no nothing in it. But it's still fun to drive.
Yeah.
Like compared to these other cars, I'm sort of, I don't even like to bring it out. There's so many beautiful cars out here. But people like to see it because it's an odd one.
I disagree. I think it's very beautiful and romantic. I can just picture myself at a drive-in movie and being my parents, too,
there you go.
at a drive-in movie.
What's the weight at this point?
The weight?
Yeah.
Probably like 3,900 pounds, I would think.
And how many horsepower will this put out?
Probably like 400.
Wow, that is a great ratio to weight, of horsepower to weight.
Yeah.
So you know that probably top end is 160?
Yeah, but it'll be really shaking.
So in other words, you might not get it up there.
Not yet.
Okay.
A lot of times poverty is not a matter of money, it's a matter of mindset. And so teaching people careers, how to be carers, how to start their own businesses, how to do what they do even better is really the key to getting children out of the poverty mindset, out of the cycle and the generational poverty.
I think it was built for a family car. You can see the back seat will hold 3, 4, 5 kids in the back, and yet the husband and wife have a little separation there with just the bucket seat, so you can always reach around and slap the kids, if they get out of it.
Yeah, you could reach around and slap the kids. A great feature.
All joking, would you go out to the Salt Flats if you wanted to get a high-end top out run?
Oh, I would probably go down to Vegas or somewhere, one of the tracks down there where they have their midnight racing with other people.
Okay. I actually used to work at that track.
Do you?
Yeah, we do the Midnight Madness at the
Oh,
drag
yeah.
strap, and it would be so much fun. And then they do some other stuff where some of the other tracks you can go higher, but because of this being a pickup, it probably you don't want to take it, you don't want to turn it at all if you're going to go for a high-end run.
No, I wouldn't. I probably wouldn't take it on the track. I would mostly just peel out every now and then and go to shows.
Well, this is a beaut. Thanks for taking us around it.
All right, thank you.
In Ogden, and in Salt Lake City, many places in Utah, there is so many people who haven't found the internal resources to be able to be healthy, to be prosperous, even their soul prospering, if you will, your mind, your will, your emotions. And so we're trying to get people to a place where they're opening up that I will help you to prosper so that you can prosper the poor. And then as that poor person prospers, I will help you to prosper so you can prosper the poor.
If anybody ever hits it, I'm done because I can't. The trim, the molding, and everything else, the fenders, I've looked for 15 years for another one. I can't find one, so I don't take it out too much the way people drive anymore. I sort of keep it close to home.
We are here with a lovely woman who is giving everything she can to increase the awareness for Utahns of Italians and how they've really had a role in this state's upbringing. And you have some fascinating stories, of which the one that I love is what happened during World War II. Can you tell Janae that?
Well, people don't realize that there were Italian POW camps in the state of Utah. They were across the whole U.S., but there was 8 of them here.
You know, it's interesting, and you've probably been involved this, when microloans became big, about when you started, that changed whole communities, whole countries. Just an astounding, one little economic factor changed everything.
It's crazy. I went into one village and I brought in a bamboo shredder, which is like a treadle sewing machine looking thing. They were able to shred that bamboo so they could bring home a whole truckload down into the city, because you have to bring it down green in order to do all the scaffolding and stuff. That village went from selling their children into prostitution to training other villages how not to do that.
With one machine, one item changed all that.
That is amazing.
So can you tell me your name again and tell me why you're so awesome?
I'm Chuck Freshwater. I live here in Salt Lake. I used to live in California, and I bought the car down there for $200. And then I went ahead and put money into it to fix it up. I like I said, I almost quit. But after I found out it was an oddball, I thought, well, keep an oddball. There's not many of them left, so people like to look at it.
We're trying to contact these women in these pictures that are still alive and get the direct stories. And some of them, their fathers had farms. Because there was, all our men were gone to war, they were able to, the government allowed them to work on their farms. So they have incredible stories. They came over to their houses on Sunday and made homemade Italian food, bread, authentic pasta. So these are the stories that we're looking for.
We also went into another village in the Philippines, and we had 8 women who wanted to learn how the sewing machine business. And so we bought them all sewing machines, microloans, like you're saying, and one woman was responsible for collecting from the other 7 women for paying back that microloan, and had a whole year to do it. But because we taught them what are the fads, what are the fashions, can you sell to the boutiques, can you sell for a higher price, how to maintain your machine, how to keep it in tune, how to repair it, and how to maintain it, they were able in 6 months to pay back their entire loan. They didn't have to, they chose to. That's the kind of crazy stuff that's going on around the world, as well as here in Utah, that we're able to do through microloans. It's a marvelous opportunity.
Chuck, can you tell me why you're so awesome?
I'm not awesome. I'm just a
Yes,
guy.
you are. You're way awesome.
I'm 78 years old.
You bought a car for $200 and you never gave up on it.
No,
that
I
is
didn't.
awesome.
No, I didn't. But it's taken me 15, 20 years to get it back together. That's a long time.
There you go. Don't give up on your dreams, folks.
No, never give it up.
Plus the Italians helped build the prison, the camp for the Topaz for the Japanese. So there's a lot of interacting with each other, and the families are all kind of still connected. And then I work with Kathy Kirkpatrick, and she does genealogy, and she's even tracked these people down that have gone back to Italy and found their families. And so that's what the Italian Center is doing, is preserving all this old history. So we opened up this cafe as our storefront to help create an awareness, but also generate income to help support the preserving of oral history and the history.
We're going into our 4th village, and a truckload of kids are coming down in the back of a pickup truck, which is usually the way that they get to school, but they were all crying, and usually they're all laughing. And I turned to my interpreter and I says, "What's going on?" He says, "I don't know." We go into the village and there's a bunch of adults and they're all crying. They had just sold their kids into prostitution. And I quit. I said, "God, I quit. I'm not going to do this anymore. You show me how to make it different, because this is my line in the sand."
This has got to be the most romantic car here. I love it.
Well, 1927, there's not very many people left alive that can even appreciate it, right?
Well, you and I, no, you're quite a bit younger than me. So first of all, what's your name?
I'm Alan Laris.
Alan, how did you get into restoring cars?
Well, I actually started when I was just a young boy. I actually started selling night crawlers for 25 cents a dozen, and saved up enough money till I could buy an old reel lawnmower. I pulled the motor off of that, and I actually built my first go-kart.
I work with the sister cities. We do Utah Cultural News, and we do the Japanese. We're working with the Chinese on the 150th anniversary. So we just want to preserve the history and the culture in Utah that people don't realize there's a lot more besides pioneer history, and that's what we're all about.
That's fantastic.
I looked up into the jungle, and up in the jungle there was wild coffee trees. I lived at Heavenly Hawaiian Coffee Plantation. I go, duh, okay. And I went home and I went to the Kona Coffee Council, and they gave me 5,000 coffee trees. We planted them in 3 different villages, and now there's 12 villages that have coffee plantations. They no longer sell their kids into prostitution. They're prospering. They're actually hiring refugees from Myanmar, which you call Burma. And just to watch that happen over the last 20 years has just been phenomenal, as we've seen all of Thailand get into the coffee business and prosper. It's been a phenomenal thing.
How great are go-karts?
Yeah, they're great, aren't they? So built that, and ever since then it's just progressed. I had my very first car was a 1936 Chevy pickup truck that I paid $30 for. We worked on that, got it restored, and then turned around and got rid of that and got a 1957 Ford, and I had that all through high school and college.
Ginger, you also talked about some Chinese heritage. Can you relate to that a little bit and some issues?
This was the 150th. We just had the 49th anniversary, and these are some of the ancestors. And there's an organization called the Ancestors of the Golden Spike. And most people don't realize that the American government commissioned the Chinese to come and work the railroad because of their work ethics, and they were healthier. Because in those days, the water wasn't real clean. Well, they boiled water for tea. They didn't drink water. That alone kept them real healthy. And they ate light. And so they were thin, they were lean, mean, healthy. They could lay more track than any other group. They even had contests.
Isn't it great when you can write a whole new chapter in your life and feel that good about it?
It has been 20 years of writing another chapter, another chapter, another chapter. We started off as the Family Investors Group. When I was young, I was an entrepreneur, and I taught people, family, to invest in prospering the poor. And then we went on to Mercy House Ministry and started that, and now with our parent organization, which is Change of Destiny, we're able to do this internationally as well as locally, set up these models for people.
My first new car was a 1970 Dodge Demon, and then I've had Mustangs, I've had Ford GT350.
That's a nice.
Yeah. But the kids kept running their banks into it, and I thought, well, I better get rid of that.
But the fascinating thing is they were asked to come here. And so they came, and so the interesting stories is the outstanding ancestors that these people left here. They're high achievers. And even to this day, these people are in this group. The credentials of their achievements and pride is very interesting. And so we're trying to log all these stories together so that people will know more about the diverse culture and ancestors in the state of Utah.
Now we have 300 associations, people, friends like yourself that hey, I want to do this, and this is how I want to do it, whether it's a car show or whatever the deal is, that you do some way of changing the world and changing people's destiny. It's a marvelous opportunity for us. People have it inside of them. If you believe in there's a true goodness, a true desire for people. But most people I know are a little bit charity fatigued, because I want to see some fruit from what I give. If I give $100 or $1,000, I want to go back next year and go, that $1,000 became $10,000. I'm greedy for God's people to grow up and make a difference.
My oldest boy, Bryce, when he was old enough to finally get a car. I says, well, we'll buy you a car. You can pick out what you want, but what we'll do is you've got to fix it up, and then that way you'll appreciate it. We went looking. We found this 1968 Ford Mustang Coupe. It was a lime gold color. And he says, Dad, I've got a good feeling about this. So we bought it. And the lady that owned it, we bought it from the original lady, and she wanted to be buried in the thing, but they wouldn't let her.
And a portion of all your sales go to a great organization.
It all does, except for the overhead for the employees that right now are all volunteers. They're not making any money because we've just only been open 6 months. So it's a real effort of love, of preserving this and getting this going forward. And we're hoping to do a car show once or twice a year or any other kind of cultural event. I have the opera students singing next door with Italian opera today, which is kind of fun.
The neat thing that you've done is you can quantitatively see the progress that's being made. If you I agree, if you write a check to National Cancer Foundation, you're not going to see a difference.
Yeah.
But to be able to write a check, see how people have learned a skill, learned to improve themselves, and then more importantly, taken that skill and taught 2 or 3 other people, then it becomes a force multiplier. And then at that point, your small check has multiplied out 3 times, and 2 or 3 years later, it's going to multiply out 3 more.
Exactly.
One of the really cool things, Janae, about when you have a dad or a son, working with a family, that is great quality family time.
Yep.
And
This is my boy here, Nick.
So the family that I got to know pretty well are the Bush family from Vegas.
Oh, okay.
And Kurt and Kyle worked with their dad Tom all the way through, and now they're arguably the 2 best race car drivers in the world, at least at the NASCAR level.
What I want to know is, how did you become such a nice person?
Oh, I married an incredible Italian man, and he gave me 3 beautiful children. And he started this because when he came to Utah, there wasn't much about the Italian history for the general public. It was pretty much you had to be in a club that you had Italian DNA. And so we started the Italian Festival, and as things went along, things weren't right. It was very hard to work with him. Well, he was coming down with the dementia, and we didn't know it. And so out of the love of what he started, my son wanted to carry it on for his father, and that's what we're doing.
To think about it, we have gone from 50% poverty in the world to 15% poverty in the world in the last 20 years because of charitable people, because of this multiplication factor. We've cut child prostitution in half in northern Thailand in the 20 years that I've been working there. And it's not me, it's people taking the banner, taking the baton, and going forward. So, it is so phenomenal to see, courageous people saying, I'm going to do something.
So you've got thousands of hours working with your son.
Oh, well, this is my youngest boy, and we built this car together, and then we got this car, and we've been going through and fixing this car up too. So, yeah, we've got a lot of hours.
And that is great. So, Janae, what's your thought? I don't know if you can take this for a ride, but you'd like
yeah.
to.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Jump in.
Okay.
The only thing you got to make sure that you do is don't rump on it too hard, or you'll spin the tires off.
Can you let Janae ride with you? Can you take it for? Let's do that.
Yeah.
Can you hop in?
Great. Can you tell us the phone number so we'll be sure and give it out to people?
801-364-8259. It's on the wall there. It says Do Italy. 801 Do Italy.
That's easy to remember. And do you have a website?
We do, but I've been neglecting it, so I'm almost embarrassed. But they can go to the Utah Cultural News site, and that one it's on right here. This one has a lot of our information of what we're doing in our stories.
Okay, that's utahculturalnews.com.
Correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
In Salt Lake, we've got a great tradition of giving.
Big time.
And going back to, I have a friend of mine who is an eye surgeon, and he takes 1 week a month and flies coach all over the world. Coach, and I gave him so much garbage about that. I said, first of all, and he's doing it for the church, the LDS church. Mm-hmm. I go, come on, you deserve business class. And he is such a good person, he didn't listen to me at all, which shows he's a good person. But literally, this gentleman goes out, and he can it's the force multiplier. Mm-hmm. He teaches 40 people to do procedure. So he's not doing the procedure, he's teaching the people. He's a very successful guy.
That is exactly the way we have to do it.
You're about to go for a ride, young lady.
You just have to jump in. You don't even, there's no doors.
I know,
just
but you
jump.
can do that great. I realize how you got to get in here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just like getting on a horse.
The hills fill my heart with the sound of music. My heart wants to sing every song it hears. How's that?
Wait.
More?
Okay.
More?
Wait. Okay, let's do that again with Janae and I, and let's lip sync.
Oh, okay.
Okay, we're going to start from the top.
Can I
Okay,
start
ready?
from the top?
Yeah. We're going to lip sync.
Our world deserves something different than what's happened over the last, 5,000-6,000 years. And what I see is the amount of barbarianism going down. I know that, it's very popular in the news to say, this is bad, that's bad, that's bad. But there are good and wonderful people who are changing the world, making a difference. And what you're saying, where you train other people to do what you do and do it better, I've been shown up 1,000 times from these unbelievable, wonderful human beings who are my heroes. Kids who were rescued out of prostitution at 12, who at 22 are running orphanages.
It's just like getting on a horse. That's great. He couldn't have used a better analogy. This car came along before seatbelts.
Yes. But we do have some if you feel like you're not comfortable.
Okay. Bye, Bill. I won't be back.
The hills are alive with the sound of music. With songs they are sung for 1,000 years.
I've had the privilege of personally going in and rescuing kids out of brothels, 1,048 at this time. And now I'm seeing my children, my grandchildren in the faith, doing the same thing, And I'm going, how do you get the guts and the courage to do that? And they're doing it.
Well, here's the problem. I've offered to go overseas and teach my skill, but we haven't figured out what it is yet. But once I find it out, I know that I'm going to be invited to go over and teach what I do. It's just isolating skills, which, sometimes is easy.
Okay, we'll do the 15-minute gift test after this program to be able to get you where you go, hey, I have a lot to give. Everyone does.
This is so awesome. It's like we're on a parade. Everyone's looking at us.
And it's like that when you're just driving down the street because people, they just flock to this kind of stuff,
The hills fill my heart with the sound of music.
I can't even fake it.
My heart wants to sing every song it hears. How's that?
I couldn't get by the first verse. The hills are alive with the sound of music was the extent of it. I look over at Janae, and she's got every note perfectly. She's pumping away.
Well, I knew the song.
Well,
She sung it for 1,000 years.
Yes.
I sang it once, I think. That's
One
my
time.
problem. Yeah. Well, I think bad TV being done all over the country and all over the world is maybe my skill. But
There we go.
it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you
too,
so
Trev.
much. Janae,
I have a quick question for Judah. What makes you so awesome?
He does. I do what's in front of me. Everything I've ever done in my whole life, it's like I've backed into it. I had no idea what I was doing, but having the courage to take the first step, that's all it takes. You'll dive into wonderfulness every single time. And I've done it for 45 years I have no idea what I'm doing, but I know people need to be loved, and I know that I have a little something I can give, which is love.
what's your name, sir?
Dell.
Dell? And how long have you had this bad boy?
I've had this 10 years. This is my second one.
Wow. So I just read an article that Dodge is coming out with the highest horsepower It's either Charger or Challenger, and
Challenger.
yeah, and it's going to be what, over 600 horsepower.
717.
Holy!
Yeah, both Challenger and Charger will have it. Yep.
Well, here's the thing, Lynette, is
Yes,
I
Janae.
actually am a singer,
Oh,
so I can appreciate how awesome you are.
Thank you.
That is so awesome. How did you learn to be so great?
I started playing the piano when I was 5, and then it's been an entire lifetime of study, including I've been a soloist at Carnegie Hall. So I put an entire lifetime plus. Now I formulated an opera company. We've been around it for 5 or 6 years now, and run the opera company and train singers, and it's an entire lifetime of work.
And you're 29.
Right.
God bless you guys. Mercy House Ministry, 253-861-5715. That's my phone number because I want you to call me personally. My name's Judah. It's mercyhouseministry.org. You can go to our website at mercyhouseministry.org or call me at 253-861-5715. God bless you.
And thanks for being awesome.
Thank you.
Back in the 60s, I grew up in Detroit, and my father worked for Chrysler. And, you had Richard Petty in the Plymouth.
Yep.
But then, was it Baker was the first guy to get in a Dodge and averaged over 200 miles an hour in a race?
It was. Yep.
And Baker was such a great guy. I miss him so much.
Yeah, they're all great guys. They outlawed the cars with the big wings.
Yeah, and those were the cars. So I believe he had the 200-mile average race at Talladega, if I'm not mistaken.
That's correct. Yep.
Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
and I used to listen to NASCAR radio and loved him.
Okay, do you want me to scare you or not?
A little scary. That'd be good.
We are the Lyrical Opera Theater. By the way, we are a nonprofit. We are here supporting this new business area, and Ginger is making a cultural arts center, so we fit in really well here.
That's great. So how can people get involved?
They can contact us directly. We have a website, lyricaloperatheater.com. We have singers contact us all the time and audition for us. We also have our community contact us and get tickets to the opera.
How much do you have into this machine?
Oh, gee. I went through the receipts a while ago. It's about 32 grand.
32 grand, and right now we've got Janae inside. Let's take a look in there. And is that the original interior? How much do you have left from the original?
It's redone, all original, but it's redone. It's new.
And would you let her drive it right now?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Janae, you just got the green light, my dear.
That sounds great. So did you notice the color? The only really important thing about this car is that it's purple.
Purple is hot. Purple is hot. But this
I'm
is
crazy, yeah.
okay. Let's take a look at the engine.
Okay.
You want to go for a longer ride or?
Sure, that'd be great.
We're doing a masquerade party on October 20th. So, the tickets are already available for that. We do concerts, we perform at private events, and we're very, very reasonably priced. We are here for the community, and we use local talent here only. So we're here to promote Utah local talent, which is fabulous, by the way.
This is gorgeous. Janae, this is what I grew up in Detroit. Cars like this, because Ford had the Mustang, and then
That's music to your ears.
That
That was so great, Trip.
is. Well, I'm jealous.
You should be.
Girls get the best things.
You can say that.
Al, this is so unfair.
Yeah.
You let the pretty girl ride with you.
That's right.
I asked if I could, and you said not only no, but hell no. This is unfair.
I'll let you listen to the pipes though.
So, how much original and how much aftermarket?
None of it's original. It used to have a 318 small block. Now
Okay,
it's
so it wasn't a big boy.
It's a 360 block right now, stroked to a 408 cubic inch.
And what kind of horsepower will put out?
450.
What do you think top end is? By the way, good news. Janae did not light it up. She had permission. Oh, wait, Janae, we got a key.
We can light it up.
Oh, key, yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and start it up, Janae?
Okay, great.
You want to or you want me to?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Unless you want to.
I do call her Jezebel, so.
Okay, let's go ahead and start her up. This is unfortunately going to call Bill. Bill is the nicest guy in the world, and you have just cost him a lot of money. Because if Janae asks for something, she gets it. So now
He wants one, huh?
we're going to be a Roadster family. But Al, thanks so much.
You betcha.
I want to know, how did you get to be such a great person?
I know there's a lot of people out there that would disagree with you. I always call myself infamous instead of famous. I think the world of Hard Knocks will do that to you.
That goes along with my theory. The awesome people don't realize how awesome they are.
Thank you very much. And you should come and sing for us sometime. We would love to have you participate, again, because we're here for our community, our audiences, and our performers here in Utah.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I feel like I'm at the racetrack.
That's perfect. Great. Thank you. I have got here's what's going to happen. We have a really annoying host that we work with named Farrell.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, next time Farrell talks, we're going to have the sound of you hitting it.
There you go.
And we'll just substitute the sound of a throaty. This is perfect. We'll never hear Farrell again. This will make our ratings are going to go up. Our award season is going to grow up. This is perfect. You've solved a problem
Great.
we've had.
I'm glad I could help.
Thanks for taking us around. She is great looking vehicle.
Glad to share.
Okay. Share
Share the car.
Share the car. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
And thanks for being awesome.
Oh, no, that's what it says.
That's what you are.
Yeah. Thank you.
Everywhere I go, I find awesome people.
Yep.
Here's one.
What'd you get it up to?
I don't know. I didn't even notice. Did you?
I was hanging out for my life.
Okay. Well, we have had a lot of fun here out on the west side. The car show has been great. We've met some wonderful people. Janae, I know you've got a new sport that you're going to be taking care of.
You want to shut this off with the high rev?
Yeah, we can shut it.
Hey, Al, thanks for being awesome.
You're welcome.
For Janae, I'm Tripp saying thanks for watching. We really appreciate you spending a half hour with us. Stay tuned. We've got some more great shows coming up.
Thank you.